What's up, boys and girls, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing today? It's a little precipitous, a little hazy out here, but it's all good. I guess this California weather needs a little water on the ground, so to say. But let's get right into it. So recently, I did a poll across a couple of my social media, and basically the question was, when it comes to vehicles, do you prefer to own or do you prefer to lease? And the reason why I was asking this is because, number one, I felt like I'll probably get a varying level of responses, and two, myself, full disclaimer, I'm just gonna get right into it. I've always been an owner of vehicles. Not once, not one time ever in my life have I signed a lease to a vehicle. And to be honest, I really don't know why that is. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm fully against it, but I just think there was something in me that just said, I'm just gonna pay for the car and I'll be done with it. And so that's just pretty much how I've operated with that. But I know there's a lot of people that just lease the cars. And there's some kind of leases out there. You got your 36 month or your 48 month, whatever. You put a down payment on it and you pay your monthly payments, insurance, and all that stuff. And that's okay. Sorry, I'm still a little dehydrated. I'm trying to work my hydration level up. But the reason why I got into it is because, or the reason why I asked is because when it comes to people that do leasing on their cars, when your lease is up, when the terms of your lease is up, you have the option sometimes of paying for it, lease with the option to buy, or you just release a whole nother vehicle. The newest one is basically like you rent a movie, you turn it in, and then you rent the latest movie that came out that week or something. So to the concept. So I understand that process, but I just feel like there's some times where you don't. There's a time where you'll get a lease of a car and you really like it, and as soon as you sign off on it, it has no option to buy it. You're just leasing it and you're going to return it. You might come to end up loving that car. And there's no option to buy. So when that lease is up, you're going to trade it back in. You may get something later on that you don't want, but you have to get something because you have to return that vehicle. Now, as for myself, we'll circle back. Like I said, I've always owned my own cars. Ever since like my first car, and you can sort of use the term own loosely. Some cars were just like hand-me-downs. I had a 1986 Chevy Nova. I've had a 1989 Daihatsu Charade. Oh my God, if you can believe that. I've had a 1987 325 BMW. That was cool. I could tell you some stories about that car. I've had a 1981 Ford F-150. I mean, the truck was literally older than myself. I've had a 2004 Honda Civic. I've had a 2006 Pontiac Grand Prix. I've had a 2008 Ford Expedition. I am currently driving a 2016 Ford Fusion Energy. So, and every one of these cars either was in my name, or it was in a relative's name. They gave it to me. They were all like paid off. But they're all owned. So like when the final payment was made, these were vehicles that basically all you have to do is pay insurance on it literally at the end of the day. You just pay the insurance on it. They were fully paid for, regardless of how old or the condition. But they're a good car that they will service you for the length of however long you decide to possess them. And so I just figured, well, you can't do that with leases. You do have to turn them in, unless you do have that option to buy, like we discussed, or And if that's your thing, where I'm just gonna get the new thing every time, that's fine. But sometimes you can get a vehicle that doesn't really cost you all that much to pay off in full as ownership, and then you just have that vehicle. And then obviously when you're leasing a vehicle, you got to put a down payment on it. Well, it's the same thing with a car. You put a down payment on it if they make you, and then you just make your payment, which is no different than a lease payment. Credit's good, financing terms, blah blah blah. But I just feel like my thing is, after all these years of being a vehicle driver and a vehicle owner, is that I just can't get in my mind, if I'm leasing a vehicle, and don't forget, you got to return it. Now, when you return something, keep in mind it doesn't belong to you. So the whole time you have this thing with you, you have to take care of it, because if you return it in too much worse of a condition, then they give you line items of, hey, if this is dinged or if this is out of place or what have you, then they're going to start docking you points of the value of the car when you return it. Well, when you own the vehicle, if you're doing financing to own it, at the end of the financing term, once you make that last payment, it's your car now. You don't have to return it to somebody in a certain condition, or you don't have a mileage per year restriction that I know a lot of leases do have. So obviously when you buy a car, you're financing it to own. Obviously you could drive that thing to Kingdom Come and BFE, if you guys know what that is, and then it's yours. If it breaks down, obviously the more you drive it, the more likely it's going to break down. But okay, that's fine. If you have a lease on a car and now you have a mileage restriction, well, now it's like, well, I can't really drive too much because I get over this mileage range, and now I'm going to owe this much per mile. I think the last time I saw was like 0.16 cents per mile or something, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but hey, it adds up if you want to keep driving places. And now you're like, well, I can't really drive because I don't want to go over that mileage. And then you go over that mileage, then you're just like, oh, this is costing me this much and this is costing me that much. And personally, because I'm kind of a road warrior, I'm on the road a lot of times, so I can't really drive with that mentality of, oh man, this drive is costing me an arm and a leg outside of the gas. Now I will be truthful here. My car doesn't take a whole lot of gas to get me a long distance. It's a plug-in hybrid. I get great mileage with this baby. I can't say enough good things about it, but I'll have another video about this car coming up soon. Be on the lookout for that. But I'm financing this thing to own. I only have about 9 more payments of this car. I received it in I believe it was July or August 2017, and it was only a year old when I got it, and I'll have this thing paid off by mid to late 2021. My payments are not high. They're below $400 a month. So I'm not going to give you the exact number, but they're below $400 a month. I did not put a whole lot down for it. I put down a good chunk, just, grease the wheels of the, negotiation process. And I got really good. I mean, for me, it was a great, interest rate on it, so I don't need to go into those numbers, but it's a great interest rate that, I really don't have to worry about. So, and when I make my last payment, this car is mine for as long as I want to keep it. I can sell it, get some of that cash back. Now, then I can use that towards another newer vehicle that I want to purchase. My son, he's 17, he's going to be 18 soon. Maybe this can be his first vehicle that, you can just sort of like hand it down. Maybe it's too newer of a car to give a teenager, but not to say I'm just going to give it to him straight up and, I'll take care of everything. No, there's going to be some responsibilities, from him coming back towards me about this car. if that's the route I decide to go. But if I was leasing a vehicle and my lease is up, now I have to take that car back. I can get another one. That's sometimes usually how leases work. But then if my son wants a car, he's gonna have to go find a whole nother car to go get on his own. And I get the whole, well, that's what kids are supposed to do. They should make their own money to go buy their own car and this and that. Hey, that's fine. I had to do that. I understand that. And if push comes to shove, if that's what he has to do, that's going to be okay. But I'm in a situation where once I'm paying or done paying this car off, I can give that to him. I'm actually looking towards getting another vehicle. That's going to be another video that I'm making coming up soon. Hopefully sooner than later. That should be a big hint on what the new car is going to be and what the video is going to be about. So just sit tight. But you know, that's, to me, like, that's the value of owning it. Yeah, making my on-time payments, that helps my credit score. And I'll be honest, when I purchased this vehicle, I had really good credit. So that really helped out with my, financing terms, interest rate, what have you. And now for all the months and years that I've had this vehicle and paying it off, it's really helped out my, my credit score just for the payment history. The volume of the amount of car, or excuse me, the amount that the vehicle is, plus the credit history has just really helped it out. When it comes to, looking for another vehicle that I'm looking towards purchasing, that really did help out, because when they ran my credit, they were like, hey, you got some good credit here. So we'll work with you. I'm like, great, let's get this ball rolling, because I really want to take delivery of this new vehicle. So hopefully, but let's get back to leasing. And like I said, when I did this poll, it really came out like 50-50. In fact, it came out so 50-50 that I ran the poll again just to see if I could, tip the scales one side or the other, and it just seemed like it was just going to stay 50-50 just across the board. So I was like, okay, I'll settle that. Half the people I know just per capita would buy, the other half per capita would lease. Excuse me, no big deal. But the reasoning that I was getting from the whole leasing concept was, you only live once, or just go live a little. Trade it in, get brand new everything. I really do get that, because there's really no good feeling of, just getting something that's brand ass new. It's not often that people get a chance to live that experience. Now, life isn't always about materialistic things. That's a whole nother topic. And I myself, my new vehicle that I'm looking towards purchasing, that I'm working on right now, it's going to be my first 0-mile car. I've not ever one time had a vehicle that I picked up, and the first time those wheels spun were courtesy of my feet and my hands on the steering wheel. So that's what I'm looking forward to on my vehicle purchase, but it's going to be a finance. I'm financing this thing. I've already squared up with the down payment I'm putting on it. I already have my monthly payments squared in and factored in, because I want to own this car. This car that I'm going to purchase is going to be a car that I'm going to hold on to for a long time, especially the way things are looking towards in the future. Another big hint right there. So and so that's where I'm at now. But what I was looking forward to in my responses was, okay, because I'm not a person who leases, so those were the answers that I was getting. Well, you gotta live a little, brand new everything. But my thinking was, well, you can do that while owning a car. You can down payment a car, pay it off, credit, payment history, all that good stuff, all that good jazz. Then you can get another one. You can still trade in the car that you just paid off if you want to. Now, that's its own story. You can sell it third party, what have you. Or you can just keep it, have a secondary car if that's what you want or need. A lot of people don't find themselves in that situation. That's fine. But hey, sometimes a second vehicle ain't the worst thing to have, but there's that problem of insuring a second vehicle. So I'll be having to look into that when I take delivery of my new one, because like I said, I am going to keep this one. Or if my son does decide he doesn't want this car, he wants another one or another type, I can sell this one after I'm done paying it off, get the cash back, use some of that cash to, help him purchase his own vehicle. Remember that movie Transformers where, his dad said he'd pay half of a car, he'd pay the other half of whatever one you want. Do something like that. No harm in helping your kids. And then you can help your kid make their own purchase of a vehicle, help them start building their credit history. Because, hey, the world we're living in right now, credit is king. Used to be cash is king, and cash is still king, don't get me wrong. But credit is like queen, I guess. I don't know. Cash and credit, you got to have both on deck nowadays. It's pretty much just how the wheels are spinning nowadays. I guess it's been spinning like that for a while, but seems like that's the ball in the court that's going to stay. So why not, put yourself in a position to have both on deck if you can. Obviously, we're in a whole nother situation right now in the world where that's just not feasible for a lot of people. And my heart goes out to them. But if you're in that mix, if you have the means, great. It's something you can work towards. I believe all of us can get there. But back to the leasing thing, and anybody who's watching this video, I want to hear some opinions on, is that why, leasing is something that you're interested in, or what tickles you about it? The whole, hey, drive it, trade it in, brand new everything all over again. Do you really have a worry about the mileage, or the mileage restriction and how things go over? Can't really travel as much as you want to. You got to baby the car a little bit because you can't trade it in with dings and think that they're gonna say, oh yeah, well, this is fine. Doesn't always work like that. It may not ever work like that. So like I said, I just want to hear from everybody. What are your guys' concepts on leasing, owning? Like I said, myself, I try to be an owner. I believe ownership is important of things. That's just me, and like I said, nobody has to agree with that. None of you have to agree with anything that I'm saying. Maybe none of you disagree with anything I'm saying, but I like the dialogue, and this is what I loved. I love the fact that even though I myself am a preferred owner, that's my preference when it comes to vehicles. When I asked the question, I didn't just get mad like, oh, these people like leasing, like, oh, whatever. I don't know what they're talking about. No, it wasn't like that. I was like, oh, they like lease. I thought it would just be universal across the board that people would like to own, because ownership of things is important in this world. You have the title to something. It's yours. You've bought it. You've purchased it. And it's yours now. So, and they can't take it from you. There's no repo man or nothing like that coming at your door. So, and I don't know if that happens with leasing cars because I've never leased one before. But hey, if you miss a payment on a lease, do they come and repo it? I don't know. I know they will if you don't make your payment on a finance vehicle. And when I say I know, I know. So, I'm just throwing it out there. I've had to deal with that, but yeah, those of you who like leasing vehicles, I get it to a degree, but I think there's something in me that just doesn't have the mentality to want to commit to doing it in that fashion. So maybe there's something out there that I don't see that you guys know, that you guys can kick some knowledge to me about. I got some good feedback from people that were actually giving me feedback about it. Some people just voted and didn't delve deep into it. But, if anybody wants to, respond back, hey, there's a comment section down there. Before you get to that comment section, though, there is a like button. There is a subscribe button. If you guys can just take these and smash them, I definitely appreciate that. You You can share this video across the expansive universe of the internet. Hey, it could be a topic that random people want to be discussing. So that's just my, introduction into this month of December. I'm glad that, all of us are still around to be healthy, and, we can check in on one another, make sure, your folks are doing okay. When I say folks, yeah, you start with your parents, but your folks, your close kinfolk, your best friends, kids, significant others, what have you. Make sure everybody's doing good. Make sure your neighbor is doing good. Love thy neighbor. And hey, I'll see you guys later.